And can you tell me what the biggest issue you have for the property tax?
Well, the property tax, there's a percentage of it supposed to be going to the bondholders, and that is wrong. We didn't get money off the banks. We don't owe the banks nothing. And why should we pay the banks back for their losses? They were greedy handing money out, and they lost it, and we are supposed to pay them. But I think that's wrong.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, I'm Maeve Curtis. I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I've been fighting this property tax from the onset, and my next step is to continue fighting this property tax.
Tell me who you are and what the next step is for you with the property tax.
My name is Michael Clark, and I'm going to refuse to pay the property tax. Okay. I believe it's wrong.
Who are you and what is the next step for you with the property tax?
The property tax for me is the end of the road. It's the final tax. We can't take any more. Okay. A lot of people can't pay it. The money's not there to pay it. As far as I can see, we're there to bail out the banks, and it's not our debt. Why should we pay a debt that's not ours? It's been put onto us, and it's been put onto our children and our children's children. And as far as I can see, I want my children to have a future in this country where they can go to college, where when they leave college they'll actually find work at the end of it. And as far as I can see, the emigration out of the country is unreal. It's at the same stage as it was at during the famine. Okay, and as far as I'm concerned, I want my children to be able to stay in the country they were born in, a country they belong in, and a country they love. And for me to have to imagine that they'll get qualifications here and they'll have to leave to work somewhere else, it's heartbreaking. And I think people need to get up with their backsides, and I'm not being whatever, I'm just talking about it. But people need to get up with their backsides, stand up for their country, get out there, protest, make themselves known, campaign as much as they can, and put these politicians under pressure and make them do what they're paid to do.
Do it for your kids.
And do it for your future, your children's future.
Who you are and what the next step is for you with property tax, please.
My name is Rory Grant. I'm a pensioner, and I completely think that this tax is completely and utterly wrong.
Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
Okay, do you want to hold up your signs?
Well, we're just going to evolve, and we're going to use all our collective energies, all our creative energies to come against this. What I feel is extreme right-wing governance at the minute that is just basically hammering families and communities into the ground. We're just ordinary decent people. A lot of us have no political heritage. We're not aligned to any political party, but I suppose we're in a collective learning curve, and the energy just seems to keep growing with people. We are very vociferous. We use peaceful civil disobedience. We're non-politically party aligned, and it seems to work for us. Do you know what I mean? And it seems to be going from strength to strength.
Okay, I'm Cassie. We've been running a campaign for the last 2 years on child benefit now, and the next step for us is there is no more cuts. Leave child benefit alone. Our kids are going to school hungry. Some kids are going to school with no socks on. Parents can't afford Christmas, holidays, nothing. Even going back to school now in September is going to be a huge problem for parents. The back to work or the back to school allowance is cut. They're talking about maybe in October another budget cut for child allowance. We just can't take any more.
Can you tell me who you are and what the next step is for you with the property tax, please?
My name's Terry Curtis.
Okay.
And I'm not paying it. That's the one certain thing. I've worked all my life when I left school and paid all my taxes. And the first thing is that it's not our debt. And we've been told that what they're going to do with the property tax, and I know it's lies. We've been told nothing but lies from this government coming in. And I would never have thought that anyone could be worse than Fianna Fáil, the last party that was in, and all the lies and what they done to the country. So I just think it's unfair to people. I have a family, grown-up family, a son and 4 daughters, and they're all working and they're all in financial trouble. I'm retired, worked for 30 odd years in the same place until it closed it down. And there was grown men crying at that meeting when my work closed down.
I'm 69 years of age. I'm on full-time medication. I have to pay £140 a month for tablets. I'm getting nothing. I applied for a medical card and told I wasn't entitled to it. Hospitals, doctors, I had to pay for. The big thing I have about it, as I mentioned earlier, was the way that the houses are being valued. Next year it's going to go up. We all know that. All this money, and I know it, everybody knows it, we all know where the money's going. It's going to pay off the bondholders, the bankers, the developers, the striker. They're setting the agenda. Mrs. Merkel goes over and Kenny goes over and he gives her a wee pat in the head for a pretty head to keep it going. There's no end in sight. I'm not sitting here because I want to sit here. I'm not protesting because I want to protest. I want a fair crack of the whip, the same as any ordinary human being wants. Not dancing to somebody's frickin' tune that doesn't even know where Ireland is, let alone acknowledge what we're going through, and then coming up on the television and saying Ireland's doing a great job, blah blah, this and blah blah that. I want to know how long this is going to go on for.
Okay, thank you.
The next step in the property tax is attack the tax. And attack the tax is a court case that has been launched against the Irish government, and likely it'll be rejected, it will go to appeal, it'll be rejected, and it'll hopefully go all the way to the European courts, where they seem to rule favourably for issues like this. But attack the tax basically gives anyone who's involved with it protection against litigation, so that you cannot be pursued for property tax because of ongoing litigation.
And we are grown as a movement. We're not given that credibility from the national media, but we are grown. There's connections being made every day. The determination that I see, especially here in Dundalk, by some of the ladies here in Dundalk, is fantastic. It gives me encouragement, it gives me faith. It's not going to die from here. Okay. You know, these people have no choice. You see, that's what the government doesn't get. Really sickening thing when you think of it. The poorest people pay more. Yeah. Because if you're poor, they say it's deferred, but it's deferred with a 4% extra interest on top of that tax. And we know that Fine Gael are Conservative government. We know that he had Thatcherite policies, but we're just all flabbergasted at the Labour Party leaving poor people swing, and that's what they're doing. They're leaving them swing, but we won't leave them swing.
Okay.
Well, my advice to other groups are to stick together, not to be afraid, and don't be bullied, and to inform yourself. Learn your rights, look up your constitution, and I would also say to any other group who's in the same boat as us to contact attackthetax.com, because they have all the legal jargon and they can actually advise you on what this tax is about, whether it's legal or not. And I would say get the information, and once you're informed, then make your own decision on what it is you want to do.
What advice would you have for other groups or individuals concerned about the property tax?
I would suggest that they unite, get informed, get as much information as they can in all avenues in order to fight this. If they believe it's wrong, then look into it, check the facts and proceed on that basis, and then make up their own mind. I would tell them to get together, to look for information, and above all, do not pay it.
people are afraid with all the threats and this, that and the other that's coming from the government. And that's holding a lot of people back, I think. But people have to realise that for this to be a success, it's strength in depth. The more people that we can get to push this thing aside, and I'm talking about people that are already registered. Just because you're registered doesn't say you have to pay. And the more people that we can get involved in this, the better.
We've got involved with Attack the Tax. And I was very impressed with them. They came and had a talk with CEO. And there was a lot of things I didn't know about. It wasn't out there in the media. And when I looked at it all, I had read up on it first before I came to see the boys. They were here in the town a week before, and I heard them were coming. I checked out everything. And when I came to the meeting, listened to them, that I could understand it a lot better. And I was very impressed with it. And I just say to anyone, even if they have paid, to get information from Attack the Tax and read up on it and understand it. And they even say, don't take their word for it. There's things they put out there. You can check it for yourself. People has paid because of fear. And it was like the household tax before that. People just were afraid because they've always paid their taxes and that. But it was just because of the media, you know, all the things that were listening on television and everything, forcing people to pay. You have to pay. The revenue's coming for you. It was like back in the Wild West. That's what it was like listening to them. Okay. But that's it.
All right. And would you have any advice for any individuals or groups a bit afraid of the property tax at the moment?
Yeah, don't be afraid. We live in an age of kleptocracy, of thieves. About 20 years ago, the neoliberals got in to power and decided they were going to sell off all state assets, privatise everything, so as to make the world more competitive. What they actually did was give lucrative contracts to their cronies, their friends. I mean, the blatant nepotism and how it wasn't picked up has always astounded me. But the fact of the matter is, this has been ongoing for years, and they love nothing better than crisis, because if you've got crisis, you've got people in panic. If you've got people in panic, they'll be less likely to resist and fight against you.
Okay. Advice for any other groups concerned about the child benefit?
Yeah, all come together, stand together. Women need to come out more and fight harder for their kids and get in contact with us, and we will all work together, but we cannot allow any more to go on.
Okay. You have for other groups or individuals concerned about the property tax?
Don't stop when it's just started. This is just the beginning. The property tax, as far as I'm concerned, is the beginning of it all. We need to get out now. We need to fight this. Let them see that they're not going to get away with it, because this is just the start. Next year they're talking about taking in water charges. You know, at the end of it, it can only rise. It's not going to stop at €120. It's not going to stop. They will take what they can get. Get out there as much as you can. Make yourselves known. Network as much as you can. Get involved with as many groups out there. Use as many tools as you can. Be it Attack the Tax, which is a legal way of fighting this tax. You know, if people are afraid that they're going to be penalised or going to be fined, whatever they feel that their fear is for paying this tax, understand there are different methods of doing this. You don't have to get in protest if that's what you're not into. If you want to fight it legally, join Attack the Tax for €2. Become a shareholder.
Advice would you have for any groups or individuals concerned about the property tax?
So what we've begun to do here in Dundalk, in Navan, in Ratoath, in Drogheda, like I say to you, Marcus, we all know each other now. We're trying to all act together now. I'm over here tonight meeting with this group. We're sitting down and we're planning. We're having a protest at the Spiegel Fest in Navan on the 21st of June. We hope to invite our friends in Dundalk, our friends in Ratoath, our friends in Drogheda, and maybe some people as well from Dublin over to help us protest there. And of course, the more people you have, the more effect that you have. So we'll be coming over to Dundalk here. I think the people in Dundalk are organising, Lisa's organising a march in the forest. They've loaded the bullets into the gun with the legislation. They haven't pulled the trigger yet. They're holding that to the head of the members of every union. Jack O'Connor is helping them do that. He's telling us, his own members, that we have no choice. The same as the government are telling the people with the property tax. It's the same thing. You think about it. It's the same tactic.
Basically, what I would advise anybody to do is, it's very hard to get out of your comfort zone. You're thinking like, what will people think, or am I doing it right? Sure, I wouldn't know how to do this, and I wouldn't know how to do that. Sure, people are more intelligent than I am, or people know more, or use bigger words than I have, and all this kind of stuff, and I can't really comprehend the whole thing. The whole thing is very simple. It's about the next generation. It's about what kind of country are we going to leave behind for our children, or our children's children. And right now, at the minute, we're dealing with a vacuum of a vacuous country that has absolutely given out a message of no hope, and that the only hope is in the dollar or the euro, and that people have been treated as commodities. Simple as that. We're not talking about humanity. We're not talking about looking after our neighbours. We're not talking about supporting one another. In fact, we're being set up against one another. So I would advise people to power up. Power up meaning realise your own power, realise your own potential, and collectivise with that power with other people, and make it heard.
What's the biggest issue you have with property tax?
Well, the very word property tax. I don't live in a property. I live in a home.
Okay.
And I've lived in that home for 37 years. And all the time that I have lived there, that home has not made me any money. And as far as I'm concerned, taxes are on earnings. They're not on something that you have worked hard for all your life, reared your family in. It actually has cost me money. And since 1978, I have been paying a property tax. That's when they abolished rates and they brought in 2.2% onto VAT. And in that length of time, they have raised 29 billion on property tax. Now, I cut my own grass, we sweep our own streets, we don't get any service, I pay for bin services myself, and on every single thing that I spend, and even on bin services, I pay VAT. The electricity that comes into my house, I pay VAT. Every service that comes to my home, I am paying VAT. And on that VAT, 2.2% is property tax. I am not paying another tax on top of this. This is an illegal tax to pay back bondholders, and I personally refuse to pay it. And this is the latest scam.
Okay.
We have here repair your own road scheme. They should call it your own road scam, because the councils are now offering you road repair if you are prepared to pay 20% of the cost yourself. Now, unless the council have taken up printing money in the attic themselves, as far as I know, the money that they receive is from taxes that I pay and everybody else in this country pay. And that means that not only will you be paying 20% for the cost of your road, you will be paying 120%. And this is the kind of thing that they want you to pay for. They have told us, Phil Hogan said, that the property tax was to do roads, to have libraries, etc. Well, now here we go again. You're going to have to pay another 20% on top of the property tax. And guess what? Next year, when the council get it, you're going to have to pay another 15% on top of that. So that will be 35%. So you will be paying 135% and getting no service for it.
I believe that this is wrong. I believe that it's penalising the ordinary person that has kept themselves right in society over their lifetime. In my own case, 50 years. In my parents' case, over 70 years they've kept themselves right. And now, after 70 years, they've been penalised, kicked in the teeth, and told to pay more money. I believe it's wrong, and I will fight it.
Tell me a little bit about who your group are, maybe.
Well, we're just a crowd of people that have got together, that we're not extremists, we're not off the wall people. We don't belong to any societies, we're not politically minded or anything. We're just ordinary decent people that have had enough. We're not taking any more.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell me what the biggest issue you have for the property tax?
Well, the property tax, there's a percentage of it supposed to be going to the bondholders, and that is wrong. We didn't get money off the banks. We don't owe the banks nothing, and why should we pay the banks back for their losses? They were greedy handing money out, and they lost it, and we are supposed to pay them. But I think that's wrong.
All right, thank you very much.
They knew exactly what they were walking into, and they'd all just sorted out what they were going to do before they were elected. But no, they made false promises. We won't do that. Andy Kenny stood up and said himself that it was a mortal sin to even think of charging people a property tax before he was elected.
In 1994.
In 1984, yeah. And what does he do as soon as he gets in? And then we have Labour. What a shower. The working man's so-called party. And just to get their hands on a wee bit of power, they forgot all their principles. They forgot about the people that founded the party and what the party was founded on. They threw it away, say, for a few pounds in their pocket. Okay. And that's my major problem with the property tax. It's unfair, it's unjust, and the sooner somebody up there, somewhere, a bolt of light hits them and they see a bit of sense and scrap the thing, because that's what I want it scrapped.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Well, again, it's come back to the unfairness of it, I think. It's just, you know, as I said, I have 5 kids. And I can't honestly understand if anyone that's not working. They're all working, my 5 children, all grown up. 2 of them married. Like, you know, they're struggling. They're struggling to cope with everyday things. Like, they have kids. I have 8 grandkids. You know, the kids have to go to school. They need clothes. They need this. They need that. Everything. You know, but they are struggling. So I can honestly not understand how people that's not working are coping.
The biggest issue is how unfair this tax is. How they can justify having a flat tax on somebody's home when that person might not have an income. If they really wanted to raise some money, why don't they put on a capital gains tax? Because there's plenty of finance flowing through Dublin, the IFSC. There's plenty of money out there being paid to advisors. There is plenty of money out there. But they seem to be focusing on the lower paid, whoever they think they can take money off of. So my advice is resist. Don't give them a penny.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What is the biggest issue that you have with the child benefit?
The biggest issue at the moment is this so-called Mangan report that has been come out, where they want to tax anybody who's earning over 25,000 a year on child benefit. 25,000 a year wouldn't even pay half your mortgage. You can't do it. If they leave child benefit alone. Every child in this country is equal. Why now start taxing it to discriminate against kids because of what their parents do? When you bring a child into the world, you love it, you care for it, you treat every child the same. So do not let the government now change this. If parents put it away until the child goes to college, that's okay. Why shouldn't they be allowed to do that? It's still going to fund the child going to college. I don't think anybody should be discriminated against, especially kids. If we start that now, what kind of a problem are we going to have when they get to 12 and 13?
How could people get in contact with you?
They can contact me. It's Cassandra Bond. My mobile number is 086 172 9818, or savechildbenefit@gmail.com, or we have a Facebook page as well, Save Child Benefit.
Okay.
So it just goes to show, if you make the connection, we can all work together and we can save our country.
Okay, thank you.
It's an unfair and an unjust tax.
Okay.
It's been brought in for the government to extract more money out of us at the end of the day. It's they've lied continuously, saying that it's to enhance services, you know, that they're using it towards different things. And in actual fact, they're not. This tax has been used to pay off a bank debt that is not our debt. Instead of making it a bank debt, they've now turned it into a sovereign debt. and a debt that we will have to pay and our children will have to pay, and it will be never ending.
All you have to do is look at the road tax. Do we have adequate road service in Ireland? No, we don't. So property tax, they're going to pump it back into local needs? No, they're not. Just look around at your towns and villages. Have you got the services you deserve? No, you don't. Do you have them in the hospitals? No.
Oh, you look at Germany. I'll give you Germany's example. They say that people pay taxes in different countries. They keep on using examples like this to us and say, look, it's normal in the rest of Europe, and why are we different? And I'll tell you why we're different. Is I have family who lived in Germany, and for any tax you pay, it is a tight tax economy, but for the tax you pay, you get a huge return. I had a family member who had a child who needed their tonsils out. Between diagnosis and operation and the child being better was 6 weeks. Right? If any Irish child needs a tonsils out, it's 2 years to get in the door to see a consultant. 85,000. There's less than 2 million people working in Ireland, but a small population. 85,000 out of that is emigrating every year.
Yeah.
But to think that in the worst economic crisis in the history of the state, Irish people are in the worst financial position than they ever were. I lived in the 80s. I went through recessions in the 80s. You know the difference? What was, Marcus, is I didn't have a big bill. I didn't have a huge mortgage over my head. Now, you go back and you have them people having a meagre existence like me back in the 80s. But the only difference, they owe that 200 to 400,000 as well.
Yeah.
And it's just impossible. We know what the banks are doing. They're not helping anybody out. And the government are going to charge them people. They're going to defer it, but charge them 4% extra in the end. I mean, elections are coming up. It'll be very interesting at a doorstep, Marcus. When I get a Labour Party, I'd love to have a Labour Party here, man in front of me here, at an election, and ask him, right, what are you going to do for me? Can you think what he's going to say? Light at the end of the tunnel. Green shoots. You remember green shoots?
Yeah.
Brian Lenihan talked about green shoots. Okay. Never happened. We've heard Enda Kenny talking about turning the corner, light at the end of the tunnel. Marcus, for them people that owes them big mortgages, there's no light at the end of any tunnel. The lights are out.
Okay.
Make no bones about it, this is about paying back bondholders. We bought inflated mortgages. Our wages have been cut. The cost of living is still going up, and yet there's less money in the pot. My family home is priceless. It's beyond value. It's actually constitutionally protected in the Irish Constitution. Like I said before, one meeting since February a year and a half ago. We started with 6 people. There's times we had 42 people in this group. We've had public meetings with 160 people. That's a sign that people are waking up.
Marcus Howard, test 1, 2, 3.